そして閉幕の鐘が鳴る。その目覚めは誰のものか。
After winning the final fight, I returned to the now lifeless school. Almost all the people are gone. I'm the only master. I'm the last living human in this tournament. If human is the right word. Even all the NPCs that used to be here are now gone. There's no more use for them. The Holy Grail War ends here. Only the master and servant who won the Holy Grail War remain. Plus one system anomaly. In any case, the path to the Holy Grail were open for the winner. Where could it be? While thinking about how annoying looking for it would be. Congratulations, you have crushed the dreams of all the other Magi. That is to say, you have won. The Holy Grail War ends here. Your voice echoes through the speakers. It is a voice I've heard before. It was the voice I heard when I met my servants at the very end of the preliminaries. It's the guide created by the Holy Grail War system. It must be based on a real person too. The path to the Holy Grail is open to you. Pass through the door to the battlefield once more. I still don't have any answers. Maybe they'll come once I go to the Holy Grail. Checking to see if Rin's on the roof before I go. Nope, okay. I knew you were the eager student, even though you no longer have need for a teacher. Are you that fond of me? No, I'm not. In fact, I'm pretty done with this bitter priest. But like it or not, he was always been instrumental to my training and advancement. Even though he's nothing more than an AI, I wanted to say goodbye. You're a good student. Very well. Goodbye. Let me offer some final advice. It is not brief, but the Holy Grail War... Well, Holy Grail won't be going anywhere. Advice? What advice could the father have now that the fighting is over? This isn't to guide you through a fight, but to enlighten you about what you will receive shortly. It may be fairly late in the game to ask this, but what do you know about the Holy Grail? I already know the basics of it. It is a supercomputer within the moon meant to observe, also known as the Moon Cell Automation. It is an archive that has recorded the history of Earth, or rather mankind, since antiquity, and Magi fought to the death to determine ownership of it. That's good for starters. Still, you need to know a few more details. As the last master, you ought to know. That crystal is the Moon Cell. Only in the past century has it become called the Holy Grail. An all-purpose wishing machine who decided the Moon Cell would only observe, I wonder. Forcing other functions upon what is primarily an observation device is generally impossible there. But the all-seeing eye is lacking the rest of its head. Although all-seeing, the Moon Cell is not a god. It obeys the laws of physics like everything else. Such as the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, phenomena that are not observed do not exist. By the same token, all things that are seen must be seen. Even things that are not generally considered to exist. The Moon Cell is a very complete database. It records many ifs as well. With such operational power, the Moon Cell can both elucidate the past and provide foresight. What you are heading towards is knowledge of the future. A place where every human wish and desire exists. A place to spy upon the future. That terrible knowledge, much like the Laplace envisioned. The moon has no will of its own. Intelligence is a distortion of pure observation, after all. But for someone with a will, but if someone with a will could harness the moon cell, they would see all of their wishes granted. The validity of one's motives, or even the very presence of a motive, is inconsequential. All that matters is that the winner of the Holy Grail is strong. Just strength. An amoral priest like Kotomine will reduce human struggle to that. Does the moon cell, the Holy Grail, desire strength? Or is it the conclusion reached by whoever created this priest? That is all. Did it help? What all of you have been clawing over is nothing more than the moon cell surface. Go forth, reigning master. Deep in the moon, the ring of fire awaits your answer. I will wait in front of the arena. If you find it hard to leave the moon cell, come find me. When I said the beds in the Earth's office kind of make me think dirty thoughts. Okay. Okay. Not what I've... Alright. But wait then, so... If he goes to the arena... What do? Also, there's nothing about Tiger. Like, Tiger's just gone. The Holy Grail War has ended, and all that remains is to proceed to where the Holy Grail lies. Upon our arrival, something's taken place that we do not understand. There's no reason for the system NPC to know anything more, but with our preparation, we should be fine. The shop and church will be usable. Go if you feel the need. If you want more training, you can feel free to use the arena, as it has been reopened. You no longer have to observe the 6-day prep period. Come and go as you please. So we go to the arena? I'll take a look. Very well. If that's the case, I wish you well. Okay, so I guess this is like, yo, grind. This is Grind Boy place. Oh yeah, this is. Like, I'm not here to actually fight. I just wanted to see. I just wanted to see. How much XP do you give me, actually? It's alright. What about the Nephilim? How much does that give me? Never mind then. Never mind then. Okay. The answer is 2,300. The answer is 2,300. Okay. Okay. We grind boys. This is good grind boy place. Alright then. Okay. Yeah, so if the final boss kicks my ass, then I'm a grind here. Okay.
ご苦労だった。なかなかの活躍だったぞ。
And the final boss whoops my ass. Okay. Your fight's over? I see. So, it's to be an exchange of info. Aren't you the perceptive one? Ah, okay, fair enough. Okay, let's just go for it. Let's just... Actually... I'm just save state, so if the boss fucks me up, I can go back to the grind. But let's go. Well, let's go. We've come this far. Let's see it through to the end. She seems to see no problem with coming with me. I'm not going to object. She's good to have along. The entrance to the battlegrounds is still the same dreary elevator. This same elevator travels to the arena, but the display indicates a much greater depth. Once inside, the doors close heavily and the rectangular box begins to move. Well, this looks familiar. What the f...
思えばなかなかに得難い戦いの連続だったな。わずか7戦とはいえ、それぞれが特徴に満ちたものだった。まあ、共にするのはこの私である。相手は人類史に冠たる英傑たちなのだから、無難なものになるはずもないのだが。出会ったばかりの頃のそなたを思うと、つい頬が緩む。あのひな鳥がよくここまで成長してくれた。世は自分のことばかりで、人を導くことはついぞなかった。導いたつもりでも、それは誤った多くの人生を踏みにじるものだった。だからこそ今は嬉しい。そなたはもうどこに出しても恥じることのない立派なマスターだ。唯一しくじったと思うのは、そなたの欲のなさだな。そなたは聖杯にかける願いはないという。それは間違いだ。実現するかしないかは別として、願いあっての人間だ。世を見るがいい。英霊となった後もこうして人生を楽しんでいる。そしてだ。今の世の楽しみは、そなたの笑顔を見ることだ。それくらい良い戦いだったのだ。人を愛するばかりで、愛されたことがない私にとって、実に得難い戦いだった。人に思われるというのも良いものだな。では参ろう、我が思い人よ。この先に何があろうと、そなたには軽やかであってほしい。そのためなら私はいかなる攻めくにも耐えてみせよう。
That fucking scared me. I was sitting there just walking slowly, just reading the text, and then that happened, and oh my heart, fuck. Because I was walking slow, because I was afraid that like if I got to the end, it would cut off what she was saying. But fuck, that made me jump. Oh my heart. Also, how long this is, I don't think I needed to walk. I don't think I had to have that worry. Alright, here we go. Here we go, boys. Who am I going to fight? Clearly the moon cell, but like, what form will it take? Is Rin not coming with us? Hello. That's that ghost guy I saw ages ago. It's an incredibly vast room. Actually, a space so cavernous could hardly be even called a room. It is also strangely barren, save for the alien object that dominates the centre of space. It resembles a giant floating eye. Although it doesn't seem threatening, it is still somewhat disconcerting. The artifact of the alien civilization, the reason for its creation, is beyond human comprehension. The core of the moon cell and the base of the Seraph, the holy grail of the seven heavens, responsible for creating the seven seas. And in the space where the holy grail is enshrined, I can feel a sense of discord and dissonance. In front of the holy grail is a jumble of skewed stone pillars, which only adds to the tumultuous atmosphere. On top of that pile of stone sits a lone figure of a man. He looks to be in his late 20s at most. His expression is blank enough to be totally unmemorable, but as an NPC, he doesn't make much of. He doesn't. No, fucking.
いや、待っていたよ。おめでとう。君が聖杯戦争の勝者だ。
Okay. Hey, I've been waiting for you. Congratulations, by the way. You have won the Holy Grail War.
祝祭の一つでもあげたかったが、あいにくここにはそんな機能はなくてね。
I can't tell if his entire lines of dialogue or not, because he's saying shit, but they don't seem long enough for what's on screen. So I'm just going to read. Normally when lines are voiced, I won't read them, but because I can't tell he's actually reading these lines or not, I'm going to. I'd love to have a celebration in your honour, but unfortunately this place doesn't allow for that sort of thing. While it might not be worth what you had to do to survive this far, you'll have to make do with my applause. Okay, I think that was the entire thing, but sod it. Well, allow me to say this. I approve, praise, and am proud of you more than I have been of anyone else. While he seems friendly, there is something more dangerous about him than any of my other opponents. It's a feeling of nothingness. There is something very strange about a man in front of me. There is someone else here. That man has a servant with him. At the same time, he mentions his servant. I say I mention servant. What? Okay, you know what? I can feel Rin tense up as she shoots a glare at in his direction. Watch out, Hakuno. This guy isn't an NPC. He's a master. But why would a master be here? The war is over and the only master left standing should be you. Well, to be absolutely accurate, I can just as easily say that you're a master who shouldn't be here too. How can a master who was defeated still be alive and present in this place? I must look into this later. Well, that's an issue for another day. At least one rule will still be enforced. Only one master may leave. And unfortunately, you are the one who will disappear. I advise you to enjoy what little time you have left. Now that's settled, I'm pretty sure the question on your mind is, what are you, right? A pertinent question. A pertinent. Where did I get pertinent? Where did I get the second P? A pertinent question, worthy of an answer, of course. I am both an NPC and a master. To be more accurate, I should say I was. Was. You mean you became a master after becoming an NPC? That's... She briefly glances my way, her eyes wide in shock. I suppose a more thorough explanation is necessary. The story is kind of long, but please bear with me. First, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Twice HP... Oh! Oh, hey, it's that guy Rin talked about. But please, just call me Twice. Twice? I thought you being a cyber ghost was just an urban legend, but to think it's actually true. Everything I've learned about you paints you as a person who hated war and was dedicated to saving lives. This massacre, you of all people, should detest this war, but considering how you are now, it's... So that's how history sees me. That I detest war. That part is definitely true. I hate war and will not tolerate its existence in any form. Not even the highways are exempt from the fact. However, the truth only scratches the surface of my beliefs. Much like the moon cell, it seems that a single well-known function has erroneously defined my true ideals. It began when I was a student and obsessed with the history of humanity. I'll never forget the many shocking realizations I received during the course of my studies. The betrayals that make up history, combined with the severe shell shock, gave him an abnormal hatred for war. Allow me to clarify. By him, I mean Twice Pierceman, and he was, in fact, incredibly ill. When he saw any image depicting war, he was overcome with overwhelming panic attacks. It was almost as if he would get severe heart palpitations and his blood pressure would skyrocket. From that day he, meaning me, was consumed with the unease and that became almost painful in its intensity. Even after becoming a scientist, he still risked his life to save others because of that unbearable pain. That's the whole of it. What drove him during his time in the mortal coil was not a sense of righteousness. What drove me was a simple question. Why am I the only one who seemed to hate war? As I said, Twice was ill, and there was no reason for him to risk his life so foolishly on a battlefield. Why did I involve myself in the war? Was it to understand it better? Especially considering the effect it had on me. Even while struggling with those questions, my mortal self still irrationally kept going into battle. And in the year 1999, a horrible neurological disease broke out in a city located in the Far East. Based on the available evidence, the cause of the outbreak was a biological weapon created by terrorists. Twice was called to the city to treat the victims of the attack when he was caught in a major attack himself. According to records made available to the public, the death toll was set at 5,000 people. The moon cell puts the real count at 8,200. As you can see, the government underreported the numbers a tad. I can see the exhaustion in his eyes. He seemed to think his story is no more than an amusing anecdote. Although, it's hard to tell if he's amused by the government's possible cunning or total incompetence. Anyway, that's when the person I am, patterned after died. Twice ended up in one of those 8,200. Something strange. I remember seeing the place where he died, if I too was one of those many victims. I can recall the sight of the buildings set aflame, but when I was twice, it was the scene I had experienced before. It was then that the mortal twice, the person I was, recaptured the repressed memories of his childhood. In the 1970s, there was a clash of ethnic groups arranged by major powers as a war by proxy. Twice was orphaned in the conflict. The place I remembered was hell. Everything around me was collapsing. Everything fell without sense or morality, and without any acknowledgement of value of life. And there lies his brilliance. The young Twice must have concluded that life itself truly is a miracle. All that remains of the epiphany I already told you already. Twice was adopted and became a doctor. And though I tried to forget the past, that one fundamental truth was burned forever into my soul. Twice despised war more. Twice despised war more, and it became his intent to kill war itself. I got involved in war in order to end it. However, at the core of my very being wasn't a denial of the meaning of war. It wasn't that at all. Twice I've seen many battlefields, the never-ending hell, the horrific evil perpetrated by humanity. What was I trying to say? Perpetuity? Nah. A group of soldiers made to fight against an army many times their size that was far more experienced and supplied. Forced to flee from guerrilla tactics, a girl of five travels on foot through a jungle that few could hope to survive. Innocent victims of violence who rebuilt their village and their lives without help from anyone. I find that odd. Even though I hated war, I saw a great deal of strength emerge from the conflicts I witnessed. Now that I think about it, the mortal me was the same. All of Twice's great works were born of war. The many revelations, the uncounted number of rescues, none would have happened without the hell that is war. All the mortal me really did was bring back a number of things from the depths of hell. And in the end, I was a victim of a terrorist attack. But as I was dying, it all came back to me. I saw the burned fields of my home and recalled the tenacity that helped me go on, even as everyone else died. Yes, 3 seconds before my heart stopped, I finally received an answer to my question. It was never denial. What drove that Twice repeatedly into the hell was because I who eventually fell victim to the violence, could no longer consider war the ultimate folly of mankind. Nothing can be hidden from the moon cell, and it records all it observes, including my final thoughts. As time went on, I was reborn as an NPC based on a record of my mortal life, just like any other NPC here. They may appear human, but are nothing more than puppets playing assigned roles. I was the same, however. You managed to gain self-awareness, but how and why? Maybe interacting with so many masters combined with my skills as a spirit hacker pushed me into consciousness. More likely, it was just an anomaly born from a single near impossibility. How it happened, I cannot say. However, once I gained true consciousness, the only thing I could do was act as Twice Pierceman would. Or Twice Peaceman. The dream that I saw as I died, the ideal that existed only in my mind, I now exist only to make it a reality. So what was that dream that the immortal Twice saw as he died? Endless war, of course. To see mankind engaged in a grand war of mutual extinction. He says this last statement in a matter-of-fact tone. There was no hint of insanity visible in his eyes, naturally, and with obvious serenity, he can somehow utter such a statement of absolute madness. The future has been corrupted. That is the conclusion I've come to after studying the Moon Cell's records. Anyone with a brain can see that the world is doomed. Mankind has long since passed its adolescent stage. Man was still maturing in the 90s. The balance was struck between penury and prosperity, but it didn't last. The period of immaturity ended, but the golden age that should have followed never occurred. You do realise this, right? What has happened to the planet and its people should never have come to be. The spirit of mankind has stagnated, just as the world has. The future is rotten away like overripe fruit. When the fruit should be at its best, it has fallen to the ground. It's not the way history should be. This is how Rin and Leo describe the world. A place of peace, superfine stagnation and entropy. But is war really the answer? Because it is the most efficient way for mankind to progress. Stability and stasis only act to preserve a species. If the objective of modern man is merely survival, then there is no reason for them to exist. In my previous life, a great many lives and resources were consumed for the sake of convenience. Why? Sheesh. There's some philosophical shit going on right here, man. Come on, man. Chill. Like, I get it, this is another JRPG, but still, man, come on. What is the need for such prosperity? Prosperity is just an illusion that exists only for its own sake. I expect that you agree with me. Humans are capricious creatures that must feed on dreams to evolve. The preliminaries illustrate this truth. In an artificial peace, ignorant aggressors reveal their idleness. Or revel in idleness. Humans can only mature after breaking free from their idleness. That seems to be the case for you. And now, ideologies are based on the detritus? I don't know what it is. Of an ignoble and forgotten past. The loss can't be overcome. I cannot allow such ideas to become the foundation of the next epoch of human civilization. Don't you agree? If the future isn't worth suffering for the suffering of the past, then that will make man mere murderers. For the humans who lived in the distant past, the future that man is now planning cannot be accepted. The future that will be, the future that will be is a mistake. Humanity has not spent countless lives for the society that has become. But we cannot reverse time. Since going back is impossible, there is no choice but to move forward. With that in mind, we will recreate the wars of the past and revise the history of the last 100 years. By having everyone fight in a war for survival, mankind's consciousness will be forced into the correct path. My wish has become confirmed conviction. As the winner of the Holy Grail War, your existence is proof of that. Come again? Hold on a second. What in the hell is that supposed to mean? Rin looks at me with flames in her eyes, as if she's demanding an explanation, but I'm just in the dark as she is. Originally, the Holy Grail War was a way for the Moon Cell to gather data. It didn't even have a name at first. The Moon Cell only wanted the best data samples. Having a war of survival was a good way to separate the chaff. However, up until now, the Magi who came here made excuses for their actions, but still killed it and fled. Human atrocity, wouldn't you say? Until I won, this world was buried under a mountain of corpses. After all, being an NPC, I get the luxury of continuing on even if I die. I watched their fights as an NPC, and when I became conscious, I fought battles of my own, weak though I was. After several dozen fights, I finally reached this elevated seat. After that, my story becomes simpler. Manipulating the rules of this place, I created the Holy Grail War. The battle of survival, from which only one single person may emerge victorious. I remade this world into a place where the limits of human potential can be pushed beyond one's imagination. And then you appeared. The weakest master in the tournament, you managed to defeat the king of the world. You were totally unsuited for this ordeal in the beginning, just as I was. As a nameless figure drawn from the masses, you have become the one in whose hands rests the fate of the world. Your soul's been tempered by crisis and conflict. Your new strength is a testament of the potential of man. When mankind reaches the heights you have, they will move forward, clearing a path for those yet to come. Now it's time for you to claim the grail of for your own. You've earned the right to show the world the true path. Shout out so that all can hear you say that war is necessary, that humanity can and must evolve quickly. Just input this one little phrase into the moon cell. Don't stop. After that, you can do whatever you wish. Whether you become a king or a god is up to you. You have my blessings, as your choice will bring endless war. The wounds you suffered by humanity after losing countless lives and endless conflict run deep. If the only reward for such suffering is stagnation, then humanity deserves to be cast into a new void. Some sacrifices cannot go unheeded. Mankind must be inflicted with wounds that they will never forget. I actually understand where you're coming from. As I remain paralysed with doubt, Rin begins to speak, her apparent calm belied by the heat in her eyes. Your story was interesting, but it left one question unanswered. It's about you winning the war in the past. You never once mentioned making a wish on the Holy Grail. Why? Why have him make your wish for you? An excellent question. The answer is that I can't. If I touched the Holy Grail, my wish would be rejected. According to the moon cell, my existence is considered nothing more than an irregular data stream. I can forward the low-level processes, but if I access the core, I'd be seen as an NPC and immediately deleted. My victories would mean nothing. I need a legitimate master, someone who would make my wish reality. Anomalous data would be deleted. What emotion did her words express? Her mumbling sounded very much like a dejected sigh. The girl beside me shuts her eyes for a moment and then directs her gaze at twice, as if to deny the obvious. That's why I've stopped here. I've been waiting for years at the gate of the core, awaiting one I deem worthy. Upon reflecting, I wasted a great deal of time. I was able to plant the seeds of war on Earth from here by manipulating and manufacturing information. But if it was a case of too little too late, yeah, but it was a case of too late. Also, my methods were unreliable and on too small of a scale. Instances of terrorism and violence have skyrocketed recently, so you're the cause of it all. With full access to the moon cell's records and my ability to divine the future, I can bring about Armageddon. Of course, I don't intend for everyone to die. I simply wish to instigate a war that anyone can survive. You can see it through the gate. There lies the moon cells, or the moon's core, an object made from the purest photonic crystal. The results of the simulations of Earth's future, run by the moon cell, are stored as light within the core. The one who reaches the core has the right to choose the course of the future from infinite possibilities. I'm sure you understand now. Whoever claims the moon cell can manipulate reality as they see fit. This object, which envisioned an infinite number of possibilities or possible futures, can reshape the fabric of reality. If what he says is true, then the Holy Grail can actually be considered the mind and will of God. Nothing is impossible. It is truly an object of unimaginable power within infinite possibilities. Yes, you do understand. It has many other names. The Photonic Abyss, Angelica Cage, take your pick. Yeah, you've earned the right to claim it as your own. Now please proceed. Unleash the perfect storm upon the world and undo the lie of stability. Rewrite history as I said. Tice looks in my direction, an expression of earnest confidence reflected in his face. Almost as if he's sure that I share his belief that war is the answer. This man, while despising war and violence, could not ignore the immediate results that war brings. This supposed comrade, who gains strength through fighting, much like I did, clears the path for me. However, even if war is a necessary element in the advancement of humanity, I still can't support its continuation. My reasoning is painfully simplistic. Lives would be lost in war. That's my only reason. I understand the concept of necessary evils, but I refuse to accept the reasoning of their existence. The line of opponents that parade through my mind are dead and gone, now and never return. I experienced the pain of loss throughout this ordeal, and that alone will always make me oppose war. Twisting the moon cell's filtering process into the Holy Grail War is his way of starting a war on Earth. And as warped as his ideals are, mine aren't really any better. Even so, I can't accept his view on war. Your conclusion is overly sentimental, don't you think? I expected that, but still, give it a bit more thought. Servant, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the matter. Do you think I'm evil and should be eradicated? Don't be ridiculous. Good and evil, right and wrong, none of those things have any meaning. Those of any substance will always move forward, even as they suffer the consequences of their mistakes. Spilling the blood of others, even as they shed their own, they prove their worth through their deeds. This is the way humanity has always been, and will always be. It is our stupidity to think that beauty only comes from a delusional sense of righteousness. Saber speaks to Twice in her normal, indifferent, slightly superior tone, but a slight edge comes creeping in. Good and evil are one and the same. It just depends on which side you stand. Your ideals mean nothing to me. But I do have one question I wish to ask of you. You claim to have been here for a long time. There must have been others who have come before us. What happened to all those previous winners? Good question. Now that I think about it, there should be some sign of those who came before me. They were incapable of seeing my point of view, or more accurately, they didn't see the value of my dream. Twice looked menacingly at the pillars in the surrounding area. His answer couldn't be any clearer. The pillars gathered together are their gravestones. Jesus. All of these! Okay. I see. You reward the victors not with the garland, but the poison chalice. That fact alone is enough to make you an enemy of mine. Saber draws her sword. Like her, I can't excuse his actions, even if it means becoming another stone pillar. I don't understand. Unlike any other human, you are the embodiment of everything I believe in. That might seem to be the case, but even if we walk the same path, our feelings may be complete opposite. I must have died at in the same incident that took twice. However, I learned different lessons in my death. Sadly for you, you cannot escape. Only a single master may leave the moon cell once they've made it in here. Once the participants have been reduced to 1, permission is granted to leave the Seraph. This is the one thing I cannot change. The moon cell has made this rule a fundamental requirement for entry. In other words, there's still you and me. As long as both of us exist, neither can escape this place. So there is no path open to you, but the one that leads to Holy Grail. And given your capricious nature, I can't relax yet. There is no guarantee your potential will shine through. The world has reached its limit as well. Soon it will be too late to overcome the stagnation of man. However, Twice Peaceman is wrong. If the moon cell automatically erases irregular data, I cannot go inside. Just like Twice, if I pass through the gate, I'll be eliminated. And if Twice somehow wins, he will gain nothing. In the end, no one will win this fight. But even knowing that, I'm not big on brainwashing, as it can end in self-destruction, but your spirit might survive the process. It doesn't matter to me if you resist. If you want your wish to come true, you'll have to defeat me anyway. Such is destiny. At the end of things, this is the conclusion we arrive at. Now then, it's time to bring this chapter of the Holy Grail War to a close. To the victor goes the spoils. That is the way of humanity, something that will never change. So can he pick any servant he wants? Can he just pick any servant he wants? Because if so, that's kind of unfair. Come legendary soul of salvation, the answer to all, the sole entity to escape the agony of existence. Is that Buddha? Is his servant Buddha? He just summoned Buddha. Saviour. His class is called Saviour. That's a class I'm unaware of. I've never heard of Saviour. Okay, if it was for the purpose of creating a path mankind will follow to Dharma and thus to enlightenment, then I will come forth and grant salvation to all things and guide them with the might of my... He just summoned Buddha! The words of my servant self-encouraged me. In the end, Twice was right about one thing. There are some things that conflict can help to grow. The most important to me is the bond that now exists between me and my servant. Regardless of the strength of the enemy or the consequences failure will have on the future, I won't hold back. I won't back down. I will face this one last battle with the one who's been with me from the beginning by my side. I have to fight Buddha! Does he not get a card? He does not get a card. He's above being a servant, I guess. I really wish I knew what he was saying. He heals from attacks, by the way. He's healing from attacks. Not a lot, but he's healing from attacks. I'm sorry? I'm sorry? What was that? You son of a bitch. I don't like whatever that is.
そんな感じああ信じよさせぬ 程度があろう
Alright, that was damage.
進んだね
Okay, we good. I think we good, boys. I think we are good, boys, right now.
任せよこの剣舞そなたに
Yeah, we good, boys. Fuck you, Buddha. Fuck you, Buddha. I can hear the sounds of battle. And though I have been defeated many times, it's still painful all the same. But I have no regrets. Just as life is an endless cycle, war too will endure. You are proof of that. Twice, even now, still holds tightly to his beliefs. Slowly he begins to fade away like all the others. But whether he's following his own rules or those of the Moon Cell, I cannot say for sure. Now, go and touch the Holy Grail. You'll come to understand many things once you do. Wantonly consuming lives, thriving without a purpose, our future blossoms like a flower by the roadside. Whether that turns out to be right or wrong, I would like for you to see and judge with your own eyes. If we were both truly righteous or not. And in an instant, I thought I saw something that was truly him, but it might have been just an illusion. Without any time to contemplate what was happening, Twice Peaceman passes into oblivion. His servant too will soon join him in the void. Without exception, all life will perish. All living things are trapped in a cycle of suffering and death. The one who sought enlightenment through strength and perseverance still has an untainted soul. But there is more than one path. Just as good and evil have value, the beauty of the world will endure. King of blood-drenched battle in Nirvana, let us witness the end of the world, for there lies their salvation. With an expression much like his master's, the servant fades away like a flower losing its petals. The only person to have escaped the cycle of suffering, seen by some as the saviour of the spirit of humanity. I see now, he did not support Twice's ideals, instead he was showing compassion for the soul of the human known as Twice Peaceman. Alright then, what should we do now? Rin asked her a question in a brittle yet cheerful tone, trying to maintain her aloof attitude. And before you say anything, don't waste your time worrying about me. The moment I lost Lancer, no, the second I entered the Holy Grail War, I was prepared to. I tried to express my concern, but she only silently points to the gate in the middle of the room. Her silence speaks volumes. As Twice said earlier, the moment that any anomalous data is detected in that dimension, it will be deleted. She refrains from speaking as she is all too aware of the consequences to come. However, even if I am to be deleted, there should still be a small window of opportunity. Time enough to sneak in a modest wish. To extinguish the remaining fires of war that twice had set ablaze. To put an end to the senseless bloodshed of the Holy Grail War once and for all. The Mooncell automation, the very mind of God, I will seal it away so that no one will ever be able to access it again. And also to return her, the last true survivor, safely to her mortal existence. A number of wishes race through my mind, but I won't have time to ask for them all. I can only ask for the most important of my desires. But any wish I make will be influenced by the experiences I've gained from fighting in this war. I make my way to the Holy Grail, and the object that is both bone and born of to the one fortunate enough to survive. My regret at not being the winning master has never been stronger than it is now. No matter how much I want to force the issue, since I am not the victor, I cannot go near the Holy Grail. With one last sigh, she retreats into silence. I silently thank her for not making an already painful parting worse than it already is, and continue making my way to the gate. And then I reach out to touch the Holy Grail, the very core of the Mooncell. Well, I mean, I really hate it, what I'm about to say. It sounds like I'm making excuses for myself. But things could have ended worse. I probably would have lost her twice, not due to lack of skill, but of heart. And that's why I'm glad you're the one who made it to the end. I want you to know that I truly mean that. Before me stands the Holy Grail. I slowly extend my hand and place it on the core of the Mooncell. The instant I make contact with it, I am drawn inside the Holy Grail. To be more accurate, I am absorbed into it like water being absorbed into a sponge. In the short time before I'm erased from existence, my consciousness is immersed into the Mooncell. I can see everything that exists within it, every piece of information, every observation, every conclusion. The sheer volume of information and ideas stored in the Mooncell forms an intricate collage that no human could decipher, though I sense a pattern. In fact, I cannot say that Twice's interpretation of human history, recorded by the Mooncell, was wrong. For war has always brought change, but in this day of age, humanity has mistaken stagnation for peace. And throughout it all, the Mooncell continues to silently record what it sees, without ever taking action. After endlessly analysing the data records, it files away its conclusion. After endlessly analysing the data it records, it files away its conclusions and resumes its role as voyeur. It is there on Earth that the whole of human existence is contained. Whatever triumphs and tragedies befall mankind in our world, the Mooncell continues to silently observe and record. It is that strength, that force of existence that Twice failed to see and understand. but now is not the time to become emotional. I have to tell the Holy Grail what my wish is. Input complete. I was able to enter my wish without a single mistake, I think. Now all there is for me to do is to wait for the end of my tenuous existence to come. However, oddly, the time of my death doesn't seem to be coming anytime soon. Being one with the moon cell, I share its unique view of time, where infinity can be contained in a single second. So, even the briefest moment seems somewhat more drawn out than normal. But even with that, it. Wait a moment. This cannot be right. Perhaps that man twice was mistaken. I can hear my servant mutter into my ear, but they aren't here in person, but as part of the Holy Grail. My guess is that my servant had somehow slipped unseen into the Holy Grail at the same time I entered. Don't act as if you just noticed me. It is your duty to be aware of my presence at all times, after all. However, something doesn't feel right. With the war over, there is no reason for her to follow me here. This is your final duty as a master, correct? Then it is only natural that I am present at this time. Especially since it seems as this is especially since it seems as if this is the time when you are in need of my strength. So that's what she's doing. With the additional presence, the time the moon cell needs to finish the elimination process has increased. As is her way, she has come to aid her worthless master one final time. However, a delay this long can't result in my servant's presence. Something else must be going on. Since I'm connected to the moon cell, it shouldn't be too difficult to find out what's going on. In what seems like only a heartbeat, the whole of my consciousness arrives as one long data file. This appears to be you. What does cryogenic storage mean? The info in this data file concerns the patient with a fatal brain disease that affects memory retention. And the only doctor familiar with the surgical procedure used to treat the disease died in a So you're telling me I have a disease, and the only person that could fucking save me was twice? Alright. Until another surgeon could replicate the procedure, the patient was put into cryogenic storage. If there is a living human that shares my exact identity, then I may be more than random bits of data. That must be the reason why I'm still around. The moon cell needs more time to analyze this new information. But I'm sure that guy didn't come here as a magus. I'm just a copy of that person trapped in an endless dream. Whatever the case, my fate is obvious. It is almost assured. I'm sure that my time here is fast coming to an end. However, there remains enough time to send out one final message. Why is she blonde? Why is Rin blonde? Also, where are we? What? Why are you blonde? I don't mind it, but why?
いや、違うわね。これはあなたのモデルになったデータに過ぎない。今そこにいるあなたとイコールじゃない。でも、これもあなたなのよね。同じ心を、魂の形を持った。 そっか。同じ今を一緒に生きているんだ。いいわ。負けっぱなしは性に合わないし、こうなったら何としても探し出してあげようじゃない。それでまだ眠ってたら叩き起こしてあげる。一発きっついのお見舞いすれば目も覚めるだろうし。まあ、できれば再会の場所はどこかの学校の景色が綺麗な夕暮れの屋上でとかが望ましいけど、それまでずっと待っていてね。約束するわ。きっとまたあなたに会いに行く。
Why is she blonde though? I don't get it. That promise was to both the boy that sleeps and the boy who begins to fade. Now, once she leaves this place, we will meet again. And it is because of that promise that I can finally allow myself to be at peace. So is AI me actually gone? Is AI me actually gone? Because there's a sequel to this game, I'm aware of that. Is AI me actually gone? Because there's a sequel. Fate Extra CCC, I'm aware of it. I don't know. All I know is that CCC never got localized and we Gaijins don't deserve it apparently, so who knows? But alright, cool. Cool, I guess. I'll just look that up online. Ah, that was a game. Ah, that was a game. I don't know what I don't. It was a good game. It was a good game. Look, I enjoyed it. It was fun, but the combat. It was fun, but the combat was a problem. I liked the story. I liked the writing. I liked the characters. All of it was good, but oh my god, that combat needed work. I liked the idea, but it needed work. Oh. I legit don't know what to say. We got there in the end. Oh boy, that was a thing. I did not expect it to be part visual novel. I will be honest. I did not expect that. There's not many other Fate-related games, are there? There's I think there's 2 Dynasty Warriors games. And Fate CC, or Fate CCC. I think that's it. I don't think there's any other Fate games. Well, there's Grand Order, but we don't count that because that's a fucking gacha bullshit. But yeah, so alright. I don't know what to say, honestly. I don't know what to say. This was a game. This was a game that I both enjoyed and endured. So, I don't know what to say. So, we're going to let the music play. Why was Rin blonde though? I don't get that. I don't know. I'm not trying to understand, but do you mean that you have an existence outside of this world? Then everything should work out fine. You're my master. You know what needs to be done, correct? And you do have my permission to visit me occasionally. Actually, come anytime you wish. I'd be happy to see you again. It makes me happy to know that our relationship won't be ending soon. It sounds like it would entail an incredible amount of effort, though. I sympathise with him for having such a burden. Though it's someone else's problem, it's my responsibility. The disillusion of my current self has begun. Outside of the Holy Grail, Rin's voice begins to fade away. As she makes me is... As what she makes me... As what makes me compressed into the smallest unit of illicit data, I think of my slumbering self. When he wakes up, his memory will be a blank page, with no friends or family to help guide him. I wonder how that strange new world will appear to him. Nothing about the past will have any meaning. What am I saying? If that's the only thing to be lost, then it'll be okay. Although I'll miss those I've met along the way, the world will still be here. As long as the path before me remains, I'll continue to walk it. There are no grades given for goals and wishes. No matter how small they seem to others, as long as I keep moving forward, I will eventually come to they will eventually come to fruition. As is the desire for that wish to come to become reality, they will keep you going until the end. I have no worries. There will always be those who strive to change the world, those that I care about. I will be able to live with them and eventually move forward into the future with them. I can't believe how promising and hopeful the future sounds. I can't wait for it to arrive. Again though, is AI me just gone now? Because there's a sequel. So how does this work? Ah yeah, clear data. Okay, so we just we done then. We done then, I guess. Okay, my answers will probably be explained on the Wikipedia page because again, CCC does not exist in English. Alright, cool. We outie.